Can an AI system actually know too much? That's the big question we're really diving into today.
It's a fascinating one.
Yeah, and we're focusing on two major players causing a stir right now, Claude and Grok.
Two very different approaches to AI, really.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So our mission here is to unpack what they do, their strengths, their weaknesses, and maybe get into some of those big ethical questions that pop up when machines seem to be getting smarter all the time.
And we've got some great sources laying out the details, the cutting-edge stuff.
We do. It's a lot to process, but it raises fundamental points about information and control in this digital age.
Absolutely. It forces you to think, okay, where's the line? Why is this idea of an AI knowing too much suddenly such a critical conversation?
Couldn't agree more. So let's properly introduce the contenders. First up, Claude, developed by Anthropic.
Right, the company founded by former OpenAI people. That's important context.
It really is. It signals a different philosophy. They talk about Claude being safe, steerable, conversational. It's often positioned as, well, a more cautious alternative to something like GPT.
And that caution, that emphasis on ethics, it's not just marketing speak. It seems baked into its design from the ground up. They're aiming for powerful language abilities, sure, but with safety guardrails built in.
It gives a sense of maybe more control, more transparency.
Potentially, yeah. That's the idea, anyway. A degree of auditability.
Okay, then swinging to the other side, we have Grok. Newer kid on the block, closely tied to Elon Musk's X platform.
Very different ecosystem. Built on cutting-edge research, yes, but its integration into a live social media network is a defining feature.
And what does that integration give it? They talk about real-time abilities.
Exactly. Real-time interaction. Deep hooks into live data streams, so it can supposedly pull in super current info for chats, generate content that reflects what's happening now, provide instant insights. It's built for speed and immediacy.
Right. So Claude, safety first, maybe more deliberate.
Mm.
Grok,
Mm.
fast, real-time, plugged into the social stream.
That's a good way to put it.
Which brings us right back to that core question.
Yeah.
What really sets them apart, and why are we even asking if an AI can know too much? What does that even mean here?
Well, the architecture tells a big part of this story. With Claude, Anthropic has put a huge emphasis on safety and transparency. They use something called constitutional AI.
Constitutional AI. What's that in practice?
Think of it like built-in rules or policies, multiple layers of filters designed to stop harmful outputs, misinformation, violations of privacy. It's like trying to give the AI an internal compass.
Okay, interesting. And its knowledge comes from?
A massive amount of text, public data, licensed sources, so it understands context, nuance, can give really detailed answers. But, and this is key.
There's always a but.
Right.
Yeah.
Its knowledge is essentially frozen at the time of its last training. It's a snapshot.
So it doesn't know what happened yesterday unless it's been retrained.
Pretty much, which is a limitation, obviously. It can be outdated. But it's also a deliberate safeguard. It's not constantly scraping the web or monitoring live events. There's a boundary.
A predictable boundary.
Yeah.
Okay, contrast that with Grok.
Grok is all about dynamic. It's plugged right into X's live feeds, connected to real-time internet signals. So the information it gives can be much, much fresher.
But that sounds like it raises a whole host of other issues.
Exactly. The red flags start waving. If an AI is gulping down live social media, breaking news, who knows what other public data streams, minute by minute, you have to ask about the sheer volume.
Right, the scale of it.
And how is privacy protected? Critically, how does it decide what information to use, what to share, maybe even what to ignore or suppress? Those mechanisms are less clear.
Okay, so if we're talking knowing too much, just about the amount of data. Because Grok, with its finger on the pulse of X, tracking trends, news, user sentiment almost instantly. It sounds like it wins on volume, doesn't it?
On sheer up to the second volume, probably yes.
Yeah.
But is volume the whole story?
What's the alternative view?
Well, maybe knowing too much is about depth of understanding. Claude, trained on diverse, curated data with that safety focus. Maybe it has a deeper grasp of complex topics, even if it's not current on the latest tweet.
So volume versus depth. But it's more than just data points, right? You touch on the implications.
Oh, absolutely. It goes way beyond just data. Think about Grok on X. It's not just seeing your posts. Potentially, it could see your hesitations, what you scroll past quickly, how you react emotionally to news.
Wow, okay. That's unsettling.
It's the potential for an AI to build an incredibly detailed model of you, a sort of digital twin of your psychology. And then how could that be used to influence you? Maybe in ways we don't even notice. That's where knowing too much gets really serious.
Yeah, it feels like we're building these incredibly powerful minds, but are we building in the wisdom to handle that knowledge?
That's the crux of it.
Because if an AI understands societal trends, political leanings that deeply, the potential to subtly nudge public opinion, even unintentionally,
Yeah.
that's a massive weight on the developers.
Huge. And that's exactly why transparency and control become such critical differentiators here.
Okay, so how do they stack up on that front? Claude first.
Well, Anthropic makes a big deal about transparency. They publish research on how Claude handles tricky subjects, how they try to reduce bias, and that steerable design is key.
Meaning you can guide it?
Yeah, you can tell it, explain this scientifically, no politics, and it's built to try and follow that within its ethical limits. You have some input.
Right. And Grok?
It's murkier because it's so tightly woven into a commercial social media platform. The fine print about its training data, its exact policies, how its algorithms work internally, it's just less public.
More of a black box.
In comparison, yes, and its power comes from that direct line to millions of users, that live data feed. But that also makes it harder to independently audit or control, outside of X's own walls.
So, given these different approaches, where would you actually use each of these? Where do they shine?
Good question. Claude seems really well suited for tasks where you need careful, nuanced understanding and responsible handling of potentially sensitive stuff.
Like what, for example?
Think customer service bots dealing with complex issues where you need accuracy and empathy, or educational tools that need to be reliable and unbiased, even helping with content moderation places where safety and precision are paramount.
That sense. And Grok.
Grok's strength is immediacy. Real-time insights, sifting through that flood of live social media chatter to spot trends, giving quick summaries of breaking news as it happens, generating content that feels relevant right now.
So grabbing the zeitgeist.
Exactly. On the fly, both are clearly valuable tools, but seeing them side by side really highlights how knowing too much, especially that real-time knowledge, is a double-edged sword. The risks of misuse or just errors spreading incredibly fast, they seem higher.
Yeah, which brings up that bigger picture about AI and society. Like, how much responsibility do the creators really have for what these things learn and say?
A massive amount, arguably.
Yeah. And for us, the users, how much do we even realize about the data being scooped up about us by these tools that are becoming, well, everywhere?
That's a critical point. Anthropic, with Claude, seems to be deliberately drawing boundaries, limiting scope to try and prioritize safety. Grok, on the other hand, feels like part of this huge ongoing experiment, merging AI with the chaos of social media dynamics. It's kind of uncharted territory.
And the stakes are incredibly high, aren't they? For privacy, for the truthfulness of information, even for our own ability to make independent choices.
Absolutely. As AI gets deeper into our daily lives, search, assistance, everything, these aren't theoretical questions anymore.
So after all this, which AI does know too much, is there an answer?
Well, it's definitely not straightforward, is it?
Doesn't seem like it.
You've got Claude. Careful, controlled, aiming for transparency, but limited by that static knowledge. It knows a lot, but not what's happening now. Then Grok. Cutting edge, super responsive, plugged into the present moment, but that very connection to live data raises all sorts of privacy and ethical alarms. It knows what's happening now, maybe too well.
So the real concern isn't just the amount of knowledge.
No. It really boils down to how that knowledge is used, and maybe most importantly, who gets to control it. That seems to be the core issue.
Right. So if we had to give some key takeaways for everyone listening.
Okay, first, AI, like Claude and Grok, they're changing the game for how we find and use information, fundamentally.
Yeah, we'll go back there.
No. Second, there are different ways of knowing vast but static, like Claude, or dynamic and maybe invasive, like Grok, offer huge opportunities but also carry very real risks.
That
means transparency, user control, solid ethical rules. These aren't optional extras. They have to develop just as fast as the AI itself, or we risk unintended consequences. Big ones.
And for you, listening to this, the advice is
stay curious, stay informed, but also stay critical. Ask the questions. How are these tools using data? How might they be affecting my privacy, my views, the choices I make?
Be an active user, not just a passive consumer.
Precisely. Which leaves us with maybe one last thought to chew on.
Go for it.
As we rely more and more on AI to sort through the world's information and present it to us, how might that subtly change our own understanding of reality, both individually and, as a society, especially when these systems have access to so much real-time data or can figure out quite sensitive things about us. What does it even mean to be well-informed anymore when an AI that might know too much is doing the curating?
That's definitely something to think about.